Hi, I'm Ted Matthew. Before we dive into the mechanics of financial stability, we need to get one thing straight. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on what most people call stability, to see why it's often just a trap in disguise. As Nassim Taleb puts it, the more you're paid, the more you're controlled. Your salary isn't your freedom, it's your dependency. Welcome to episode 1. Let's get started. Have you ever looked at your job, a good, stable, well-paying job, and just felt trapped? Like you're in a cage, even if it's a golden one? Well, today we're gonna dive right into that feeling. We're exploring the idea that what we call stability might actually be a trap in disguise. Economist Nassim Taleb doesn't pull any punches with this one, does he? His argument is that the more a company pays you, the more they kind of own you. It's a pretty wild thought, but it makes sense. By overpaying, they're not just buying your time, they're buying your loyalty. And more importantly, they're buying your fear of ever leaving. But wait a minute. This goes against everything we're taught, right? A steady paycheck means security, and security means you have the freedom to live your life. But what if that's the biggest professional lie we've all been sold? What if we have it completely backward? Most people think a high salary is a trophy. But what if it's actually a ransom? Today, we're not just talking about jobs. We're talking about the mechanics of freedom. Alright? First up, let's pull back the curtain on this whole illusion of stability and really dig into the myth of the almighty paycheck. Here it is, the heart of the issue. We've all been raised to believe that a single employer is like a rock, something solid you can build your life on. But think about it for a second. When your entire financial world is tied to one place, you're not stable. You're actually incredibly fragile. And this fragility has a name: rigid dependency. Look at this spectrum. The corporate hostage has a high salary, but zero freedom. They are driven by one thing: the fear of losing their lifestyle. It's a fancy way of saying you're not really an employee anymore. You're more like a hostage. You can't just walk away from a toxic boss or a job that's crushing your soul because your whole life, the mortgage, the car payments, your family's needs, it's all chained to that one single income. And here's a powerful way to think about it: this salary needle. It's just like an addiction. That paycheck hits your bank account and you get this temporary high, this wave of relief. But all it really does is deepen the dependency, making it harder and harder to even imagine a life without that next fix. Look at this spectrum. The corporate hostage has a high salary, but zero freedom. They are driven by one thing: the fear of losing their lifestyle. And these are the very real day-to-day costs. This is that constant low-level anxiety humming in the background. It's the reason you bite your tongue in a meeting when you should speak up. It's why you say yes to things you know are a bad idea. You trade your own voice for that illusion of security, all because you're terrified of losing the level of life you've become accustomed to. So if this golden cage is real, how in the world do you get out? Well, let's explore one pretty radical escape plan: the FIRE movement. FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And the main idea is to just completely flip the script on the traditional career path. Instead of working for 40 or 50 years, you save an aggressive amount of your income. I'm talking 50%, maybe even more. Now look, it's an intense path for sure. It takes major discipline. But the goal? To invest enough so you can walk away from work for good, maybe in your 30s or 40s. And the math behind it is it's shockingly simple and powerful. Just look at this. If you save a standard 10% of your income, you have to work for 9 years just to save up enough to cover 1 year of expenses. But what if you could crank that up to 75%? You'd only need to work for 4 months to buy yourself an entire year of freedom. It completely changes the timeline. So how much is enough? What's the magic number? Well, in the FIRE community, the key number everyone talks about is 4%. This is the famous safe withdrawal rule. The theory is, once you've saved up a big enough pile of investments, you can safely withdraw 4% of it each year to live on. And thanks to market growth, that money should basically last forever. That's the finish line. Okay, the FIRE movement is powerful, but let's be honest, that level of intensity isn't for everyone. So what's a more practical pivot? Let's talk about the freelancer's path. Now, the absolute key here is to not just leap into the void. The smart way is to make it a gradual transition. So what's a more practical pivot? Let's talk about the freelancer's path. Now, the absolute key here is to not just leap into the void. The smart way is to make it a gradual transition. You start building your freelance business on the side. And yeah, it's going to mean some late nights and working on weekends, at least at first. But what you're doing is building a bridge to your freedom, not just jumping off a cliff. Once you have a steady stream of clients and income, then you make the move. And this quote just captures that strategy perfectly. Don't just run from a job you can't stand. Run towards a future that you've already started to build. You have to have a destination in mind, real clients, real income before you ever set sail. So whether we're talking about FIRE or freelancing, both of these paths really point to a much bigger idea. You have to completely redefine what freedom and security actually mean to you. You can really see the difference when you put these two mindsets side by side. The traditional employee has all their eggs in one basket. That's a huge amount of risk. And you have very little control. You're at the mercy of one boss's mood or one company's bad quarter. But the free agent, they've diversified. They have multiple clients, multiple income streams. If one client leaves, it hurts. But it's not a catastrophe. That isn't just more control. That is what real security looks like. And that's really the most important point. True, lasting security isn't a benefit that your employer gives you. It's not written into your contract. It is an asset that you and only you can build for yourself. And making that mental switch is the first step to breaking free. Ultimately, this whole thing is about making that transition, moving away from being dependent on a single system for your survival and moving towards becoming self-reliant, where you're the one creating value and building your own security in the world. So I'll just leave you with this one final question to chew on. When you go to work every day, are you building your own dream, your own security, your own freedom? Or are you just a really well-paid employee building someone else's? The answer to that question, well, it changes everything.